Say that. Hold on,
Elliotte Friedman, Kyle Bukowski.
Elliot was listening to me.
Okay, so this is coming to an end. Mikko Rantanen and the Dallas Stars are closing in on an extension, 8 years, $12 million AAV, which will get the deal done, and Mikko Rantanen will be traded to the Dallas Stars. Don't know the exact deal in return, but we are getting there.
All right, so 8 times 12, I guess it'd be just over $100 million in total. And the fact that they get the deal done here prior to the deadline allows Dallas to get him for that 8th year.
I got nothing else.
Okay.
Okay.
So boys, I guess we can break that down a little bit here. And the return is
stacked.
Yeah. So let's start with the Stars, but I know that there are a lot of people who will be waiting for the return, given the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes just picked this dude up and now are flipping him to the Stars. Can they get Marty Necas back in this deal?
Oh, who knows what it's going to be. I don't know. I mean, you think about the young players they have there, too. I wouldn't be parting with Stankoven. I'm with Biz on that. Maverick Bourque's a young guy. Antonio Stanger's in the minors. I don't know what's coming back, but the Stars are loaded with depth, man.
I wonder what it's going to be. Yeah, like what was the contract he turned down to in Dallas?
I thought it was over 100. Fried says over 100.
12.6.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering is like why he settle.
He's in Dallas.
Maybe someone finally told him there's no tax in the state. Yeah.
I don't care what's coming back. If you look at that thing on paper, all the way back to the trade with Colorado, it's not going to make sense for Carolina. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it shakes out.
See, it'll be a whopper coming back. There's pressure on them, right, to get something back.
Absolutely.
As Rick Bowness said, though, there's a wealth of Finns there. You know, it's like
Finnish connection, he called it.
It's Team Finland. So going somewhere with a bunch of buddies, comfortable as well. It's a shave a little bit off on the contract offer, not a big deal.
I usually say all Swedish, no Finnish, and in this case, it's all Finnish. All Finnish on that team.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, though, about what happened in Carolina, because obviously there was some pressure on that team, especially given what happened with Jake Gensel last year. Like, they had to get something back if they weren't going to be able to sign him.
That's what I'm thinking. We were just saying this. Why not hold on to him and take a run this year?
I think you take a run. They're good.
That's a good hockey
They're a good team.
Right.
It's a hard place to play as a visiting.
And I know, like Biz was saying, the system's different, right? They play heavy, they play fast, it's man-on-man in zone, but he'd get used to it.
Yeah. Good to get a good player, but good to get the right fit.
True.
You know what I mean?
Say the players. Let's go back to David Amber and his crew. David?
All right, Tim, we can mention that we've had a 1-for-1 as well. Paul Bissonnette's been moved off of this panel. He'll be back. Player to be named later. Biz is doing a little radio. He'll be back in just a matter of moments. All right, this is huge news. Elliotte Friedman all over this. Mikko Rantanen to Dallas. We don't know the return yet, but we know there is an 8-year extension for, what was it, 12 per year, so $96 million. I'll ask this again, and we started the show asking this. Is Dallas now the prohibitive Stanley Cup favorite, assuming they didn't,
Yes.
I mean, assuming they didn't give up anything huge?
Well, I don't, prospects for sure. I don't know, but I'm just looking at the lineup, and I'm wondering where he's going to go. Is he going to play with Hintz, Duchesne? Not likely, it doesn't seem.
Wyatt Johnson
down the middle.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Hintz,
he needs
maybe?
a righty. He needs a right-hand center. I think we've kind of seen that with, with Aho and Carolina and then McKinnon and Colorado's. He needs that righty centerman. I don't know, I think Wyatt Johnson would be a great fit for him. Does it make them the Stanley Cup favorites? I don't know. I mean, I like Ottinger a lot.
They're right up there.
Haskinen's got to get back to healthy and dominant.
He will.
Yeah.
We can let's hold off on that thought because we got to see who they give up in return. But the other question, and you just heard the Players Lounge talking about this, Jen. I want you to touch on this. Did Carolina make the right move? Because seemingly they're not going to be as good as what they should have been with Rantanen.
But absolutely. To me, I feel like we heard he wasn't going to sign the extension with them. So to me, you look at we'll see what they got in return. But even though he wasn't prepared to sign, I don't think it was worth it for them for the rental or the short-term benefits. No. Absolutely. So to me, I think he's going there. And then you look at this, maybe they're not the favorite, but I think they are right up there in terms of your top 2 or 3 contenders now for the Stanley Cup because of that presence. And think about Rantanen and finding the right combination, Cal, of players for him to play with, but also it was mentioned earlier this morning on how well he's played in the playoffs, right? I feel like not only has he been a great player in the regular season, but has played and produced in really important playoff games, and that's what Dallas is looking for. And we'll look at that lineup to see. And their first power play unit, how much better that gets, but that's a nice look.
I wish we knew it was coming back, because like a good part, like it's probably Stankoven. I was just talking with Mike Fuda, who was, was an assistant GM with Carolina, and Marchese, and Rantanen had to have a destination in mind, because he was offered more money by Carolina, although the state tax kind of factors into that. And Dallas uses that. Trust me, so does Tampa, so does Florida, so does Vegas. They use that openly in negotiations. This is what you're really going to get. But Rantanen, he had to have a destination in mind, and obviously Dallas was one of those destinations.
Well, if it's Stankoven, terrific player, but he's 5'8", and so if he goes back the other way, Rantanen he's 6'4", as you mentioned,
at least.
He's a beast in the playoffs. So that could be a good trade for Dallas.
Same height as me, right, Dave? 6'4".
One last real quick thing. We'll just put a bow on this. Did Eric Tulsky, the GM of Carolina, overplay his hand by making this big blockbuster without having a contract in place? Did he just assume, well, we'll get this figured out?
Yes,
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but we don't know. Like I hate talking about what ifs. We're not privy.
We don't know that.
We're not privy to the conversation. We're not privy to if Aho told him, "Hey, get him here. I can get him to sign." We don't know about that. So
and originally, I loved the deal. Yeah, swinging big,
ask
right?
the strategy panel that maybe they would know.
Yeah,
but I always feel like I like the approach of going for it. And even if they felt like there was a good chance, even if it wasn't 100% guarantee, if they felt encouraged it could happen, I like the mentality of trying to go for it. And they've fallen short in the playoffs, so for them trying to do something different.
And they did it 6 weeks ago, so they had a runway, right?
Yeah.
So if they couldn't sign Rantanen, and then they could move him, which they've done. So smart play.
Ask that little players panel or something.
Official trade
You don't
deadline.
want to talk anymore?
No, that's a little player panel.
Official trade deadline 2.5 hours away.